Everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are just going to wait a couple seconds for everyone to get into the Zoom room. And we were having some technical difficulties behind the scenes with our hosts, so we're just going to give the other panelists a second to join. Okay. Our last panelist is here, and I see a few more people jumping in. So we will wait for Linda to get on camera. Hi, Linda. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Okay. Thank you again, everyone. I'm going to start sharing our deck, and we will go ahead and get started. So again, thank you all for joining us. We are going to dive into our online Masters in Data Science Policy, Governance, and Society program today. In terms of an agenda, we will start off by meeting our presenters. Then we will give you a little bit of an introduction to our Data Science Institute. We will look at the program format. Linda is going to do more of a deep dive into the curriculum for you all. And then we will go over the application checklist, and we will save time at the end for a live Q&A. If you do have questions as we're talking, feel free to just pop them into the Q&A as we go through if you don't want to forget, and we will answer them at the end. Your presenters for today, we have Linda Clark, our academic director, on with us. I'm going to pause and she's going to introduce herself on the next slide. My name is Amanda Whitaker. I am the program specialist for online graduate programs, and I do a lot of behind the scenes administrative work for this program. I'm going to pass it to Melanie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie. I am one of the graduate coordinators for the online data science program. So pretty much you will be in contact with me as you're exploring the program. And then once you decide that this is a great fit for you, then I'm more than happy to just walk you through all of those application steps.
Great. And then now I'm going to pass it to Linda so she can give an introduction of herself.
Yeah, hi everybody, and thank you very much for attending. We hope this is a productive use of your time. I am a member of the faculty in our Data Science Institute at Brown University. I also hold an appointment in our Sheridan Center for Teaching and Learning. My background is actually in more of the social sciences. So if you are not a techie kind of person, I am living proof that you can do this program and you can be successful in this field. I spent most of my career at Penn State University. So if there's any Big Ten people out there, hello. And I'm really excited to introduce you to this program today.
Thank you. And then Linda, if you could give us some background information on the Data Science Institute.
Yeah, so there are a growing number of departments, schools, and colleges of data science that have sort of a disciplinary identity. We are very unique at Brown University. We are not an academic department. We are an institute, and part of our mission is literally that we're not in a disciplinary sort of niche. We provide outreach, support, connectivity, serve as a hub for lots of different data science activities at Brown and external to Brown as well. Just highlighting, we have two centers within the Data Science Institute. So we have our Center for Computational and Molecular Biology, and more closely aligned with this master's program is our Center for Technological Responsibility, Reimagination, and Redesign. We also have an undergraduate minor, which is our data fluency certificate, and we have a residential master's program in data science, which is not interdisciplinary like this one is. It is really more the technical facing, intensive master's program.
Thank you. Now I'm going to jump into the program format. So the program is 8 total courses, and in a standard plan of study, students are taking 2 courses a semester and studying for 4 consecutive semesters for a total of 16 months. So our semesters run spring, summer, fall, all year round. There is an option to go part-time if you can't handle 2 classes at once with family and work and everything. We understand. Once you're admitted into the program, you can work with your advisor to create a custom plan of study. The program is 100% asynchronous, but it is not self-paced. So each semester is 14 weeks long, and there are 14 modules, which you'll have due dates and assignments for each week of the semester that you'll follow. Additionally, there are weekly optional synchronous sessions held over Zoom that are an opportunity to engage with the material and the faculty members and your classmates. It's not a lecture, it's a time to really kind of synthesize what you've been learning over the past week of the course. These are optional but encouraged, and we've seen probably 3/4 of students across our programs attend every week. And the sessions are recorded for those who are unable to make it. In terms of tuition, it is $7,500 a course. We do offer merit-based scholarships of up to 50%. When you submit your application and are reviewed for admission, you're also reviewed for a scholarship. And when you receive your admissions decision, you will be notified if you were awarded a scholarship and how much. And then I am going to pass it to Linda to give us some why we should be interested in this program.
Thanks, Amanda. We did a lot of thinking about this online master's program, and what we have and what we're offering to you is something that's really consistent with where DSI is at Brown University and where we now know the field is headed. So this is really an interdisciplinary program where you learn some of the technical skills of data science, but you also learn about writing policy, governance around data science, and using data science to shape policy. So both sides of that for sure. So you'll get to think a lot about the ethical issues, societal impacts of data science and AI, and then really create a framework in your own capacity to anticipate and to be able to deal with where this is headed in the future. Because one thing that we know is this field is constantly evolving and changing. We don't have any alumni quite yet. We've admitted our first cohort this fall. But we do know that there are positions for folks with this master's degree in government, both at the federal level, at the local level. Industry is hiring folks to think about this. In academia, we're hiring people to think about this, to study this. And internationally, there is a big push to think about AI and governance and policy around data science. We do have a robust alumni network at Brown University, and there are opportunities for our students and our alumni to interact with those folks as well.
And now we're going to take a look at the course sequence and curriculum.
Yeah, so if you look at the titles of our courses, you can see that what we've done is designed a curriculum where the emphasis of one of the courses is on the technical side of things, and the emphasis of the other course is on the policy side of things. As Amanda mentioned, most students so far are taking the 2 courses at the same time. And what we've done is create opportunities for that material to be used across courses. But if you decide to take one at a time, we have anticipated that. And so the way in which we've connected those courses will make sense if you're taking one at a time. But we really start out the first semester with a broad overview of basic AI and policy ethics. And then the accompanying technical course is really designed to get everybody up to speed in terms of their technical skills. But the course is also designed that if you already have those technical skills, we're applying them in ways that are specific to the issues that you're going to see later on in the program. The second semester, again, we have more of a data engineering focus, but again, it's a very unique focus and thinking about data engineering from things like bias and ethics, in terms of how we're getting our data and working with it. And then the evidence-driven policy is really how we use data science to shape policy. And then in the third semester, you can see that we have a course in machine learning. That's not just machine learning, it's machine learning and thinking and learning about how to detect and remediate bias in the models that are used. So that will be a unique application of that. And that's accompanied by a course that is about fairness and bias and really approaching that from a theoretical perspective and helping you build a framework for you to start to evaluate your models. We cap it all off with an advanced topics of AI governance. This course is really a case study based content where you will be starting to look at policy and governance from different perspectives. And that's accompanied by our applied learning experience, which is a capstone. Again, we haven't had any students, but we're designing that, keeping in mind that many of you are working professionals and trying to be flexible with exactly what the product of that course will look like.
And now we're going to talk about kind of the online student highlights and what you can expect from being an online student at Brown. The courses are accessible from anywhere through Canvas, our learning management system. So if you're on vacation, you don't even have to miss class. You can work through it. There's also an optional weekly synchronous session that we talked about before. These are an hour long, and they're held sometime in the evening, Eastern time, and the times will be communicated to you before the start of each semester. You will receive a Master of Science degree when you finish the program, and there will be no indication that it was completed online on your transcript or the degree. A question we get a lot is if online students are able to join us for commencement, and the answer is yes, of course. Online students are just as much part of the Brown community as anyone else, and you are welcome and encouraged to join us in May, but we also will be hosting virtual ceremonies for people who are not able to get to Providence. And again, online students do have the full access to Brown's resources. So the library is all online and librarians are able to help virtually. Our career services offers one-on-one programs, networking events, and different workshops that are held virtually. The student accessibility services, so if you need any sort of accommodations, they're able to help you out with that. Additionally, we have a foundations and resource center set up for online students that has links to a lot of different resources and documents and information that you might need while you're going through a program. And then lastly, you have a dedicated support team. So Mel is here to help people walk through the application process and answer your questions then. And when you're admitted to the program, you are then assigned an academic advisor who works with students through the duration of the program and is kind of their like go-to person, the concierge of if you have a question that's not related to the academics, you can reach out to your advisor and they'll be there to give you an answer, guide you to the person on campus that can help you. So even though you might never step foot in Providence, you have people here that are able to help make this a smooth process for you. And then I am going to turn it over to Mel so she can talk a little bit more about what is needed in the application.
Thank you. So yeah, essentially this is a list of everything that you will need to have a complete application ready for committee review. So firstly, you will need a completed bachelor's degree from an accredited institution. After that, we would need your resume, and that has to show at least 2 years of work experience. No internship work is considered full-time work experience. So if you have any questions as far as what is equivalent to those 2 years, we can definitely talk one-on-one. After your resume, we would need 3 letters of recommendation. One of the 3 should be a manager or supervisor, but ultimately 3 people that will just speak very, very highly of you, your professionalism, and of course, in support of you pursuing this endeavor. So definitely, as you're having those discussions with your recommenders, give them, a shorter window to submit their letter of recommendation, just so that's not a delay that you're experiencing once you're ready for committee review. After those letters, we would need your work artifact. So pretty hot topic. That's literally any professional product that you have that shows your writing ability, professionalism, and some kind of relevance to the topics in the program. So you can connect it to data science, you can connect it to public policy, you can connect it to ethics, AI governance, truly anything that has prepared you or motivated you to pursue this program. We want to see it. So if you have any questions as far as, okay, what exactly would that look like? We can always talk one-on-one. Another thing that I like to add about the work artifact. Let's say you work in a confidential space and you cannot share any original products. We will also accept a reflection paper, and that will be in lieu of that original product. And with that reflection paper, you're writing about a specific project that you're proud of. You're listing, everything that you did to be successful in your role. Also connecting it again back to the topics in the program. And then of course, we want to hear about your goals once you complete the program. So if you need any guidelines on that reflection paper, again, happy to talk one-on-one. We would need your unofficial transcripts are fine for your application to be reviewed, but once you're admitted into the program, we would need official transcripts. For students who have attended universities outside of the United States, we would also require a transcript evaluation, and we only accept them from WES, SpanTran, or ECE, and that is required for your application to be reviewed. Another side note about the transcript evaluations, a lot of times they do have a lot of delays. So definitely just keep that in mind as you're aiming for different deadlines. In addition to those transcript evaluations, if your native language is not English, we would also require a language proficiency evaluation. So we do have a list of countries where we would not require it. However, if your country is not listed, then we would need that. But good news, we do accept self-reported scores for your application to be reviewed. And then once you're admitted into the program, we would need official scores from either TOEFL or IELTS. So yeah, essentially following all of these steps, you'll have that completed application. Then you'll be prompted to pay that $100 application fee. Luckily, we have waived that for you up until that final deadline, October 15th. So definitely try to aim, to submit your application by then. And then that is our application link. So you can definitely take a screenshot of that, but it'll definitely be at the end of these slides.
Yes, and like Mel said, even though it says early application deadline, the application fee has been waived for everyone that's attending this webinar. So, and then Linda, do you want to talk a little bit more about what makes a good work artifact?
Sure. This is, I think, Mel, your number one question that you get. So we'll spend a little bit more time on that, though. I think Mel has covered this really, really super duper well. And I just want to emphasize this does not have to be a technical paper. And Mel said that, but I want to emphasize it. This can be a policy or an ethics piece that you've written or you've thought about. Related to or inspired by your professional role. But in addition to the topic, we really, really are looking for, okay, how does this motivate you for this program? When I read these, sometimes I get a sense that the student is really interested in a straight up data science program, and I don't really see the connection to governance, policy, and society. So really take a look at our program, our courses, what our outcomes are, and make sure that those are in some ways reflected to this. And so we've got a couple examples here. Again, a policy paper written for a nonprofit, or a data visualization maybe that you've done for a company, or it could be some complex data science model that you've written for your company as well. It really can take many, many forms.
And we do actually have some examples of successful work artifacts. So if you go to dsi.brown.edu and navigate to the page about the online program, you'll see links to those. And then Mel is also able to email those over to you if you reach out to her. if you're feeling like you still don't really have a good idea of what we want to see. And then in terms of deadlines, so we are still accepting applications for our spring 2026 cohort that starts in January. The final deadline is next week. I will say if you are interested in getting started in January, I would suggest starting your application and then reaching out to Mel or our admissions inbox, and we may be able to work with you to push out that deadline a little bit if you already have your application started. So if you think you're thinking spring might work, definitely there is still time to do that. And then for fall 2026, the application is open for that semester as well. And the early action deadline isn't until next year, but we like to suggest to apply early because you'll get a decision sooner, you'll know if you have a scholarship sooner, and you can then take the next few months to just relax before you dive into a master's program. So we are now to our Q&A portion. If you do have questions, there is a Q&A tool that should be in the toolbar at the bottom, and you can pop those in there. We do have a question about financial aid. Mel, I don't know, do you want to talk a little about financial aid options?
For sure, yeah. So all students can definitely use federal aid to assist with tuition. I typically will refer you to financial services just so they can give you a better breakdown of what's available to you and giving you that cost breakdown. So I can drop their contact information in our chat box.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Can professional experience exempt a person from the undergrad stats requirement?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we need to see is your ability to do the statistics, because again, a lot of the technical parts are built on statistics. So we can always take a look at things, and you can submit the application and we can review that for you, and we would certainly give you feedback if it wasn't sufficient. The issue that introduces is how much is enough, and is it the depth that we're looking for? When it's a class, we sort of know what it is. So there's a little bit more subjectivity if it is not a formal class. And again, we can review those on a case-by-case basis for sure. So the easiest way for us to answer that question is to get that application submitted or be in touch with Mel, who will help connect your question probably to me to take a look at things.
Thank you. Any other questions about the program or the application process?
I think I'd like to just say a couple of things about the students in our program now that we're getting to know them a little bit. They are almost exclusively working professionals. They are juggling family, work, and now school on top of things. So if you're worried about that, it is possible. We have, as you've seen, a number of resources to help you once you're enrolled with those demands. And I will also say that the cohort, because you're in both classes together for the most part, there's a lot of support within the cohort to be able to sort of figure out how are you managing this, how are you doing this. Also, a number of our students have been out of school for quite a long time. So if you're nervous about coming back to school, back to academia, you are not alone in this program, and it really is designed for working professionals who are not coming straight out of an undergraduate program. So sometimes folks are a little concerned about that. Again, we know that, and we've taken that into account in designing this curriculum for you.
Thanks, Linda. I'm not seeing any other questions. I just want to give people a few seconds to get them in before we sign off. So if you do have anything that you would like to know, otherwise, thank you again for attending. This is the email address to reach out to Mel and our admissions team. So onlinemasters_admissions@brown.edu if you do have any follow-up questions. And if you want to take a picture with your phone or something of this link, you can also schedule time there directly to talk to Mel one-on-one.
We did get a
Okay.
question there. What makes a great application? Again, we are looking for some specific things. So we are looking for that professional experience. As Mel said, if it's an internship, that's not professional experience. So we want to see that you've been out in the real world, you've been working, you've been thinking about the issues that are related to the program to inform your professional role. So that is an important component of it for sure. We want to see that you have been academically successful in quantitative-based courses, aka the statistics, because we don't want you coming into this program not being able to handle that part of our curriculum. So that is also important. Some experience with coding is also something we require. You do not have to be an expert level coder. We have students who will take a Coursera course on Python, or maybe have some expertise in another programming language, but definitely having some, that is something we are also looking for. And again, a little bit more than just sort of messing around with it. Again, if you don't have any formal training in it, if you haven't learned it in a class, we strongly suggest that you take a Coursera course or some kind of intro to coding course. And again, that professional artifact carries a lot of weight, as Mel emphasized, making those connections to our program. Read our course descriptions, read our program description, and how does what you're thinking about in that work artifact connect to that? Make that case very strongly to us and show us why you're really motivated for this program in particular, because there aren't a lot of other programs like it. So you'll definitely have to do something beyond a sort of a generic statement of interest there. And your letters of recommendation, I write a lot of letters of recommendation. We can tell when your recommenders take the time to write a very strong letter of recommendation, and that not only reflects your qualifications, but again, how do your qualifications specifically match this program? So if you can ask your letter writers to take a look at our program, and you can talk to them, give them some talking points about how your interests, your skills will match up to this program. That makes a great application.
And then we have another question about what opportunities are there for research for online students?
Yeah, actually, this is a great question. We have one student that I know about, there may be more, who has engaged in research opportunities with our center that I referenced earlier. The center has weekly seminars where folks come in and talk about their research around the socio-technical issues that we're talking about in our program. And so this student has networked with some of the faculty and some of the research that's going on in the center. So that is certainly accessible to online students. And in fact, I'm just going to humbly brag. I think the DSIO program is sort of a model for integrating online students into what's going on campus. You'll get a weekly Data Science Institute newsletter. It's going to talk about opportunities and speakers that are coming up. And again, most of our speakers have Zoom links. Again, the seminar with the center, connecting with faculty. Faculty know DSI students are sort of in the mix. So if you're motivated, those opportunities are definitely available to you.
Thank you. Okay, last call for questions. If we don't see any more, thank you all again for attending this afternoon. Please reach out to us if you have questions. We really hope to see your application come through soon. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.